everyone, and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So today we have a very lengthy discussion that we'll be taking up. The first we have is an editorial from the Hindu newspaper, which is titled as Considering Consent. So this talks about reducing the age of POCSO from 18 to 16. We'll discuss it further in the coming up discussion. Then we have news update and legal news for the day. So the lawmakers have the important duty of ensuring that the law of the land upholds the principles of justice and fairness and stays in tune with the practices of the times. Basically, this article is pointing towards the POCSO Act, and that when we consider the age of adulthood or the age bar in the POCSO Act of 18, it says that we, according to the time or the changing scenario of the society, probably this age of 18 should be reduced to 16. So the present issue lies with the Karnataka High Court urging to consider the age of consent under POCSO as 16 instead of 18, since there have been numerous cases where the girl has fallen in love and has eloped. Now, when it is talked to about being able to give your consent, so under the POCSO Act, if a person is of 18 years or above of that age, then that person can give the consent, and so POCSO would not be applicable on the boy or the girl. But if we talk about biologically, scientifically, or even if we talk about general in the trends of society, the children who are above the age of 16 also, many a times they consensually fall into love, or they consensually involve themselves into some acts for which they have to pay later on, because the age under POCSO is 16 and not is 18 and not 16. So presently, the willingness of a girl child of the 16 years of age is not factored under POCSO. I hope you all understand the POCSO Act is a specially brought forward act, or a special litigation, an act that is purposed or that is centered around helping children or saving the children against sexual offenses. And you can see the full form of this is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act in 2012, and it actually was brought into action in the year 2013. So the need for the reconsideration arises from the fact that if the girl has eloped, their parents approach the police. So, but obviously, if a girl, has run away, even though she ran away with her own consent, but in such a situation, the parents will have no other option but to, of course, approach the police. Now, sometimes the boy who is a participant in this is barely of legal age, and when POCSO is slapped on them, the same becomes life-altering, as it was meant to be, with the severity of the punishments laid down. So let's say, for example, the girl was 16 years and the boy was, let's say, 17 years. Neither of them was 18 years of age. Now they both consensually decided to run away, or to stay together, or fall in love with, or engage into any kind of sexual activity as well. In this situation, just because they were not 18 years of age, POCSO and the provisions of POCSO, the punishments under the POCSO, which definitely are very severe, they would be slapped upon the boy and the girl. Especially on the boy when we talk about this. So while the criminal charges are pressed against the boy, the girls too are sent off to the government homes. Now, in this situation, it needs to be pondered upon that whether or not these children, if you were to call them as such, 16 years or 17 years of age, were they or were they not in the situation or in the mental state of giving the right kind of consent? So the law thus fells the lovers and their families in one swoop, even though the first set of parties had committed a consenting act. So here definitely consent of these parties was not being considered. So while the argument of protection and the grooming with intent of exploitation exists, the recognizing of consent from the age of 16 still remains a very strong argument against the POCSO. The High Court judges also asked if it could be presumed that minors have knowledge of the applicable law. This definitely is a very important point, because many a times the children, let's just begin, at our own homes, we have our younger, sisters and brothers. How many of them really know about POCSO Act or the repercussions if they, go against the POCSO Act? So they, very generously, without any knowledge, they engage themselves into such activities, even without understanding the repercussions of the acts that might come if at all something bad happens in the coming time. So it may be remembered that the Justice J.S. Verma Committee on Amendments to Criminal Law also recommended that the age of consent be reduced to 16 and necessary amendments be made in the POCSO Act. And guys, please pardon me for my grainy voice. My throat is not very well, so you'll have to bear with me during this discussion. Let's move to the news updates for now. Firstly, we have the new CGI. So this is actually one of the most important news and also the legal news that we have for now. So DY Justice DY Chandrachud, who is actually a favorite of a lot of us law school students. So Justice DY, that is Justice Dhananjay Yashwant Chandrachud, has been sworn in as the 50th Chief Justice of India by the President Draupadi Murmu at a brief ceremony held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Justice Chandrachud, as the Chief Justice of India, will have a term of 2 years and will head India's judiciary until November 10, 2024. His father, Y.V. Chandrachud, holds the distinction of being the longest-serving CJI who headed the judiciary from February 22, 1978 to July 11, 1985. Secondly, National Florence Nightingale Award 2021. The President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, presented the National Florence Nightingale Awards for the year 2021 to the nursing professionals at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The National Florence Nightingale Awards were instituted in the year 1973 by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, as a mark of recognition for the meritorious services rendered by the nurses and nursing professionals to the society. If you remember, especially in the times of COVID-19, some doctors also were awarded with the National Florence Nightingale Awards. Thirdly, Algeria submits application to join the BRICS. So Algeria submitted an official application to join the BRICS economic bloc, which consists of 5 countries, precisely to be named Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, according to reports quoting the Algerian Foreign Ministry Special Envoy for International Partnership. So if this official application is approved, so Algeria would also become a member of the BRICS nations. Fourthly, Mahindra Rural Housing Finance appoints Shantanu Rege as the CEO. So Mahindra Rural Housing Finance, a subsidiary of Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Limited, announced the appointment of Shantanu Rege as Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer. Rege previously worked as an executive assistant to Anand Mahindra, Group Chairman in 2012. Fifthly, India's first private rocket to be launched between November 12 to 16. So Skyroot Aerospace, that's the name of this private rocket, which is a Hyderabad-based private space startup, will launch India's first private rocket from the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO's Sriharikota launchpad between November 12 and 16 this very year. Sixthly, Google launches FloodHub. So Google has launched a platform that displays flood forecasts, namely FloodHub. This platform shows the area and time where floods could occur in order to inform people about the natural calamity, and authorities can assist them with effectively. The technology giant has also expanded its AI, that is artificial intelligence flood forecasting services, to 18 countries across Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Seventhly, India's G20 Presidency. So the G20 logo draws inspiration from the vibrant colors of India's national flag, saffron, white, and green and blue. So it juxtaposes planet Earth with the lotus, India's national flower that reflects growth amid the challenges. The Earth reflects India's pro-planet approach to life, one in perfect harmony with nature. And below the G20 logo is Bharat, written in the Devanagari script. The logo was launched by Prime Minister of India. So you can look at it in the picture just beside this text, and you can see how beautiful this logo of G20 looks like. We also have used the quotation that, or the saying that we have of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, in which we mean one Earth, one family, one future. Eighthly, independent India's first voter, Shyam Saran Negi, passes away. So 3 days after casting his vote for the 34th time, India's oldest voter, Shyam Saran Negi, died on November 5th, 2022 at his home in Kalpa in Himachal Pradesh. He was 106 years of age. So he was the brand ambassador of Election Commission, and he voted for the Himachal Pradesh Assembly election through postal ballot on November 2nd. It was his last vote, who was actually 31 when India gained independence. Ninthly, National Legal Services Day. So National Legal Services Day is marked every year on 9th November to celebrate the commencement of the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987, which came into force on this very day in 1995. This day was established with a mandate to offer support and help to weaker sections of society, including scheduled tribes, scheduled castes, women, disabled persons, natural calamities victims, and human trafficking victims. Tenthly, Tamil Nadu notifies Cauvery South Wildlife Sanctuary as the 17th sanctuary. So the Tamil Nadu government has declared an area in the reserve forest of Krishnagiri and Dharmapuri as the Cauvery South Wildlife Sanctuary, comprising an expanse of 686.406 square kilometer. This would be a part of a protected landscape contiguous with the forests that currently constitute the Cauvery North Wildlife Sanctuary shared between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. 11th, Asia Power Businesswomen. So Forbes Asia has unveiled its annual Asia's Power Businesswomen list, which features 20 women from Asia Pacific region. The list of women bosses features 3 Indians as well, namely Ghazal Alag, Soma Mandal, and Namita Thapar. 12th, Uttarakhand Foundation Day. Uttarakhand celebrated its 22nd State Foundation Day on 9th November, that was yesterday. On this occasion, a Raitik parade was organized at police lines in Dehradun. It was carved out of Uttar Pradesh, and the state is divided into Garhwal and Kumaon divisions. Several programs are being held in various parts of the state to mark the occasion. And with this, Uttarakhand has completed 22 years of its statehood since 2000. Let's see what do we have for legal updates today. Firstly, purpose of land acquisition also a relevant factor for determining market value, says the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court reiterated that the purpose for which the land acquisition is made is also a relevant factor for determining the market value. This was held in the case of S. Shankaraya versus Land Acquisition Officer and Revenue Divisional Officer, Pedapalli, Karimnagar District. Secondly, Kerala High Court directs authority notified by central government under Section 79A of the IT Act to record voice sample of accused for investigation. So the Kerala High Court reiterated that recording voice sample of accused does not violate his right against self-incrimination under Article 20, Clause 3 of the Constitution, and directed that the recording and testing of voice samples as part of the investigation be done in a center as notified by the central government as per Section 79A of the Information Technology Act. This was held in the case of Abu Tahir versus State of Kerala and another. This was all for today. We hope you liked the session. Thank you so much for staying tuned with LawSikho. If you wish to download the PDF for today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can also scan this QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Thank you so much.